Who's got the best swing in baseball? Hey, how's it going? It's Joey Myers from the Hitting Performance Lab. And in this video, we're going to answer objections about showing the numbers to the pitcher. There are a few out there. And what's interesting is when people start offering their opinion on things, we have to ask them, what is the data that supports what your opinion is based on? And then what is the reasoning that got you to that conclusion? Because as many of you know, opinions are like cornholes. Everyone's got one, and the opinion itself is seldom useful. The data that supports this showing numbers movement principle is based off of research. If you wanted to go into it, I will put links. If you go below this video, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the About section, link back to the actual blog post. I'll have links to these books. But if you want to read the data that goes along with this, check out Thomas Myers' book, Anatomy Trains. You can check out Dr. Serge Grakovetsky's book, The Spinal Engine. And you can also look at a collaborative book or the leading author is Dr. Eric Dalton. The book is called Dynamic Body, and there are a bunch of authors in there that are all based in their science and research off of springy fascia and spinal engine, biomechanics, things like that. It's also worth noting that there are quite a few ex-major leaguers, all-stars, current professionals, and past professionals that support showing numbers to the pitcher. And in the likes of Matt Nokes, Nokes, Homer Bush, Aaron Miles, and numerous other professional and major leaguers past and present. Also, another in addition is David Weck, W-E-C-K. Go check him out. Go to WeckMethod.com, W-E-C-K method.com. He is the original founder of the Bosu Ball. And he's come up with the RMT Club, the Rotational Movement Training Club, and most recently, pulsers that have to do with helping athletes run faster. And he's very versed in the spinal engine and springy fascia. And he goes against conventional wisdom when it comes to training sprinters or even training long distance athletes. Highly recommend you go checking out his stuff. All of these people support showing numbers. One of the objections that I get is that showing the numbers to the pitcher increases time to impact because the hitter is turning away from the ball. If you understand what springy fascia is, it's a cotton candy or spider webby like material that your bones and muscles float in, gives muscles their shape, and it connects everything throughout the body. It's like a springy glue, like a mucousy glue type material that is very springy. So what happens when we're showing numbers to the pitcher? Now, the pelvis, we don't even need to turn the pelvis in towards the catcher, which a lot of hitting instructors out there mistakenly teach. We don't have to do that. I advise my hitters to keep their belly button or their belt buckle square to the plate, creating separation right before landing, and that is what takes the slack out of the system. It's basically like this. If we take a balloon that's slightly deflated, so it's a little squishy when you squeeze it, and you take one hand on opposite sides of the balloon and you twist them in opposite directions, like you're twisting off a bottle cap. Twist them in opposite directions. What happens to the air pressure inside the balloon? Right, it increases. So this is what we're doing with the body when we show the numbers to the pitcher, except for us increasing air pressure, we're increasing the springy fascia inside, or winding up that springy fascia like a spring. And it's important that we wind it up before landing or at landing, not before and then lose it at landing where the front shoulder is pointing straight at the pitcher. We need to be showing numbers. Imagine a 99 on your back like Aaron Judge, at landing showing both of those numbers. Worst case scenario, showing one full number and a half of the next number. So we have to take slack out of the system. Even though we're turning away from impact, we're winding up that spring and getting it ready for the turn. The next thing that we hear a lot about, or the objection that we hear, is that the hitter will lose vision at landing by showing the numbers. I love this one because there are extremes in everything that we do movement wise. We call it the Goldilocks golden rule. Goldilocks didn't want the porridge that was too hot, the one that was too cold. She wanted the one that was just right. So that's what we're trying to do. And we use what's called the back eye test when we're trying to get our hitters to figure out what is the just right showing numbers. So the way that test works, and I will have a link to an article I've already done on this, a video I've done on this demonstrating this on the actual blog post. So again, you can click the link directly below this video if you're watching this on YouTube. But what you can do is you get the hitter to feel different numbers showing. You can have them show too much, and then basically what you want to do is get them showing too much or showing just right. Get the head, get the chin over the shoulder. Don't let the chin get trapped inside the shoulder. You're going to crane the head over, show the numbers. You're going to close the front eye. And if we lose vision with the back eye, then we're showing too much. But you want to show as much of your numbers as you can, double digits, and we want to show them to landing. And you can use the back eye test to figure out if you're doing it too much. So no, the hitter doesn't have to lose vision while showing numbers. The other objection that we get recently actually is, no, we don't want to show our numbers on inside pitches. That is bull, because let me show you some elite hitters doing just that on inside pitches. So we're hopping on Twitter right here. We got a post by Mr. Craig Hyatt, and this is Mike Trout hitting an inside pitch, even off the plate inside. Watch his numbers. See that 2.7 there? That is showing his numbers on an inside pitch. Here's another example. Evan Gattis. He doesn't show quite as much numbers as Mike Trout, but look at the 1-1 back there. He kind of starts in that position, inside pitch, inner third, showing the numbers. Here's another one. 17, you can see the big 17 flash, inside pitch. Bam, another elite hitter showing their numbers. Here's another one. Evan Longoria. Watch the 10. Watch the pitch. Showing numbers. All right, and just like my tweet says, again, showing numbers on inside pitch. I can do this all day long with different high-level hitters because real science says so. Eat soup with a spoon, not a fork. Here's Mookie Betts. Showing those numbers. 5-0. Watch the pitch. Inside. Showing numbers. So no. Data, reasoning, you can read for yourself. But you can see we answered all the objections, and now the only thing that's left, people say, well, there's thousands and millions of ways to teach the swing. And I agree, 100% absolutely. Just like you can eat soup with a spoon, a fork, and a knife. But only one of those ways is more effective. The same with teaching hitting. There are more effective ways of teaching hitting. And what are those, you might ask? Using human movement principles that are validated by real, R-E, all caps, R-E-A-L, real science, not because I said so, bro science. Just like I mentioned earlier in this video, the best swings in baseball, personal opinions are seldom useful. You need to have data, real data, whether that is research, whether that is hit tracks, ball exit speeds, and then the reasoning behind the conclusion to that opinion and based on that data. If you do not have that, and this is just an IMO, in my opinion, that is seldom useful and should not be said. Make sure that we can back it up with real data, with real research, with real elite hitters doing this. Don't let your ego get in the way. Because understand this, the information is out there on this. The information's out there. So whether you teach it or you don't teach it, your hitters are going to find it. And do you want to take credit for teaching it to them? Or do you want them to find it on their own and you don't get the credit? So we got to make sure that you're making decisions not based on ego, but based on real data and then the reasoning behind that conclusion of that data. Make sure that you're swinging smarter by moving better. And before I let you go, the Hitting Performance Lab wants to know, did you know repeatable hitting power does not start in the hips? Have you heard the expressions, load and explode the hips? Power comes from the hips. Well, we created a free video revealing the results of a scientific study that will show you how we added 48 feet of batted ball distance instantly. And it's not all about the hips. Click here now to get the video while it's still free.